the road kind of thing. And if it does hit the middle of the road, then I'll quite enjoy it because I'm going to see it. I'm the one who's going to review it. So if it hits the middle of the road, then it's done its job, in my opinion. It looks a bit normal.
Who's going to see the Coen Brothers movie?
That'll be Andy.
Right. Okay. Is he a Coen Brothers fan?
I don't know.
He would need to be. Are you a Coen Brothers fan?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Why am I even talking to you?
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
Have you seen Star Wars?
Yes, I've seen Star Wars.
Has he redeemed himself?
No, I knew he'd seen Star Wars.
I was given a Star Wars box set for Christmas. Haven't watched it, and I was thinking, why was I given a Star Wars box set? Considering that I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, I'm more of a Star Trek person.
Well, you see, whoever gave you that present is listening to this now. You're going, you know what? Screw you.
Yeah. Or they didn't like you to start with.
That person doesn't listen to the show, and he is a bigger idiot than Andy.
Oh wow!
Double-edged insult. I love it.
Next week we'll be just calling you Billy No Mates.
I don't have any friends anyway, so.
I wonder why.
There you
Captain
go.
Hostile.
The sympathy there.
So if he's a superhero, he'd be a supervillain. He wouldn't be a hero.
Captain
He'd be like
Hostile.
Megamind.
Yeah. Speaking of Megamind, no, not speaking of Megamind. Speaking of Despicable Me, did you hear there's a third one coming?
Yep, 2017. And
Yes.
the Minion film is out in 2015.
Oh, I didn't know the Minion film.
I know, really.
Yes.
They were really
I made the mistake because I think we mentioned that on Following the Nerd last week about part 3. The news had been released, and I made the mistake of mentioning that to my kids every morning so far. Is Despicable Me 3 ready? It's like I'm making it.
Yes. Come on, Daddy, hurry up.
Get it done.
Yes, and the Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, they're releasing that as well.
Yes.
A remake or?
Yeah, like a done in the same sort of animation style.
Animation. Okay, so no Jim Carrey, though he was pretty animated.
I'm going to throw up and then I'm going to die. Yeah. So you're excited about that then, Stuart?
Well, the Minion film was supposed to be out this year, but it was pushed into 2015, so slightly disappointed at the fact that I will not have any new Minion stuff this year. But you'll probably get like a Tesco's or an Asda gets a special like half an hour DVD, and I will be a sucker, pick it up and buy it, because the Minions are just awesome.
Wow.
I think
planning to actually get a Minion tattoo.
Now that would be
I'm not
good.
gonna do that.
Yeah, you do.
Right, I'm going to keep you on the line for a little minute here because...
Can I just point out that top 10, if I got my maths right, I think if you combine all of them, other than The Hobbit, they still don't make what The Hobbit made so far. Just wanted to point that out. You know, the ye that doesn't think The Hobbit's any good.
You done?
No. Yeah, okay, I'm done.
Okay.
Smaug forever! Free the Smaug!
Apologists. Damn apologists. Yeah, Stuart, I'm going to keep you on the phone for a wee minute, or on the call for a wee minute, because I want to talk some Star Wars news, and Jay...
Shall I sleep now?
He doesn't roll that way.
Okay.
Roll that way.
Is there any point in talking to you? You're not a Star Wars. You're not really a big
If
fan,
it's
are you?
Star Wars Lego the game, the Star Wars Lego cartoons, the Clone Wars, that's probably it.
Excellent, because it's none of those things.
Probably 1313.
But of course, I have been...
I sent to you to put up on Following the Nerd.
Yes, well, let's start with that. 1313, of course, was the big white hope for Star Wars gaming last year, or sorry, the year before the whole Disney Lucasfilm merge, takeover, whatever you want to call it, was announced. But it looks like we're not going to get that game.
No, we're definitely not going to get the game. There was a chance that it would have been revived once Disney bought LucasArts, and when LucasArts went well, I wouldn't say under, when LucasArts closed down. And that game looked really impressive at E3. And I think the way Disney have done it, they gave EA the rights to make Star Wars games, and so they're making Battlefront and thinking that our Battlefront is good enough for Star Wars fans, and we're just cancelling 1313 and we're not going to revive it, even though it being a much more interesting game than Battlefront.
No, I agree with you. And it looked, what we'd seen of it, the early footage of it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Right, other news. Kathleen Kennedy just kind of stepped down. She's the one that's looking after Star Wars. She's been talking a wee bit about the spin-off movies. Of course, I'm sure, Stuart, you know this, that as well as episode 7, 8 and 9, we're going to get spin-off movies as well, which are going to explore the universe a wee bit outside the core story.
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy has been talking a wee bit about this now. Up until this point, and I'm sure you'd either need to be sleeping under a rock or BJ, not to know that,
or both.
that there was big talk of a Boba Fett and Han Solo movie.
I know who they are.
Okay, that's something. But Kathleen Kennedy has come out and she said George was so clear on how that worked, the canon that he created with the Star Wars saga. Right now, episode 7 falls within that canon. The spin-off movies, or we may come up with some other way to call these films, they exist within that vast universe that he created. There is no attempt being made to carry characters from the standalone films in and out of the saga episodes. Consequently, from the creative standpoint, it's a roadmap that George made pretty clear. So Kennedy makes this all clear. She's interested in honouring Lucas's plans and everything else. But does that mean, are we reading that wrong? Does that mean that we're not going to see characters from the other movies in these standalone movies?
That's how it sounds.
Yeah, that is how it sounds like that.
Which they could be missing. Obviously, I don't even need to know who the characters are. Mm-hmm. But in a franchise as big and as the scale of not just the 3, the 6, whatever Star Wars movies, but the books and the media and the games and all of the other characters that could come out of it, fans will want to see some of that interplay.
Yeah.
You don't just want to go and see Star Wars 7 and Boba Fett's cousin, whatever, another character that's never been in the 3, 6 movies. You want them to come in and out, a bit like Marvel does with their superhero movies. But definitely Star Wars is an empire for a reason. It's massive. It's an epic scale. You don't just want standalone movies that never interact with each other just based on the same myth.
Yeah, it is a little weird as well because, I mean, there is such a rich Star Wars universe out there. And there's so many characters that we are familiar with but we don't know an awful lot about. So I think everybody... it's not that we assumed that. We sort of heard that.
From what you've just said, it's laid out that they are not going to cross over.
Yeah, but now she's saying that they're not going to cross over.
Yeah, eek.
Which is kind of weird. Okay, other news, Stuart. Dame Judi Dench?
Mon Mon.
Have you... Mon Mothma.
Oh, nearly got it.
Have you read this? Do you know what this is?
No.
Okay, Mon Mothma, who was a character in Return of the Jedi, she was one of the leaders of the Alliance, of the Rebellion. She was the one who had the immortal line, "Many Bothans died," to bring us this information. She, when we meet her in the Star Wars movies, original trilogy, she was sort of late 30s, early 40s. Now they're looking to obviously move real time ahead, and the rumour is that Dame Judi Dench is in the running to play her as an older lady. Can you see this?
Is there any actor or actress isn't rumoured for a role in Star Wars?
Yeah, but those ones are all
even Jason Momoa. Is Jason Momoa in it yet?
Not yet.
There's still time.
No, but you know what? The Star Wars things hasn't been as crazy. I think a lot of the names that we're hearing with Star Wars, I think there might be some truth to, because they have been much more concentrated. No? Maybe just me?
Maybe. Well, we know we're going to get, according to J.J. Abrams, some proper announcements as of March.
Yes.
Is it? So we're not going to get them, but we need to stop this speculation of this actor or actress or whatever is going to be in the film. We definitely need some concrete actors and actresses who's going to be in the movie. But Dame Judi Dench, maybe she was in Chronicles of Riddick, and so she's done sort of like sci-fi-esque kind of thing before. So
and she's a good, solid actress as well.
Yeah.
And that's without knowing much about Star Wars, they had some really solid actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Even in the prequels.
Yeah, I mean, cause Liam Neeson and
Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, they are Samuel L.
It's one of those movie franchises that I think a lot of actors want to be part of.
I'm going to ask a question because I really don't know. I don't even know his name. The character that Samuel L. Jackson played, could he be in the next ones?
No.
Oh.
No, he definitely can't.
Is he deaded?
He is dead.
That's not a spoiler.
Very deaded.
No, not just cut in half like the guy with the red face.
No, he was electrocuted, had his arm cut off, and then was thrown thousands of feet.
Have you seen Halloween?
Yes.
Any of the Halloween?
Yeah.
You can come back from that.
Did you really just compare Halloween to the Star Wars saga?
Maybe the first Halloween. Maybe the first Halloween, which is good.
Why are you on the show?
Because you love me. Go on, tell me. All right, I'm going to show you my knowledge. Mark, look me in the eye.
What?
I'm going to show you my knowledge.
Right.
Just, you have to do this, okay? Say, I love you. Go on.
Do
it. No, do it. Just go on.
No,
do it.
No.
Stuart, tell me you love me. Go on, quick.
I love you.
Good Lord. Really?
Shh. I know.
Good Lord.
See?
Right. I'm going to be sick.
Yeah.
But I know that bit that Han Solo won't say I love you back.
It's part of the zeitgeist. Right, okay. Right, J.J. Abrams has confirmed that the script is finished. This is what you're telling me, Stuart. He said that shooting will begin in May. That's the current plan. We have our script. We're full steam ahead. The script will travel. When asked about any news regarding the story, he says we can't talk about that yet. Regarding the casting details, he said it's coming soon and I look forward to it so we can get past that and get on with the movie.
Which is good.
Yes.
But I think Stuart's right. If they're starting to film this in May, and if I'm right, we're in January, the fact that no concrete cast has been announced is a bit, not worrying, but strange.
Carrie Fisher. She let slip at the weekend that her, Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford are starting to film, and she said May, which
coincides.
Which coincides with this. Stuart, at this point, is there any surprise that the original three are coming back?
No, because it was obvious that the original three was going to come back. So
yeah, I don't. I think at this point it's like, yeah, we know that. you know.
And the guy that plays C-3 here will be back.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's in everything.
When we were at Celebration, Mark Hamill was on the stage, and you know, he wasn't allowed to talk about episode 7 or what was going on. But you know, he said, wouldn't it be great to be getting up in the morning and going to film a new Star Wars movie and playing Luke Skywalker again? And the crowd were going ballistic, and he was basically saying
he was milking them though, wasn't he? Which is great.
You know, and Carrie Fisher was kind of playing into it as well. I don't think there's any big mystery to this, you know.
And we talked about it last week, that if they're going to keep this going, as in not just episode 7, but branch out and make Star Wars massive again, they need a passing the torch movie.
Yes.
They need that. It wouldn't be fair to the... I mean, all joking aside, forget me, it wouldn't be fair to the real fans to have a movie that just forgets everything and starts kind of a reboot or like 20 years later and ignores what came before.
Yeah.
Having that in-between movie where the old guard and the new guard are together just makes sense.
It does. And I mean, even with the prequel movies, although it wasn't the same actors, you did have, you know, you
same
had
characters.
Obi-Wan, and you had, you know, these characters that you knew and you loved, and it was carrying on that story. I don't think you could possibly have episode 7 open and none of those characters in it.
Obi-Wan died in the movie, didn't he?
He dies,
and he was in another movie.
He dies in 4,
but he came back. You saw him again. Yeah. So Samuel L. Jackson could come back.
Can J.J. Abrams do that though?
Do what?
Do you think he is a director who's able to continue on the canon without sort of like starting anew? Because look what he did with Star Trek.
Yes,
he sort of like refreshed it in a way, but
Star Trek was a reboot, though. It was a complete reboot.
But it's still, a lot of fans of Star Trek were a bit annoyed with the fact that the way he turned it into a more popcorn kind of film.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so it wasn't as geeky, because if you look at the previous Star Trek films, they were very, very geeky. And so this time it was more like, because they've got people like Chris Pine, and they made the characters much more younger, and they set them before some of the other films. And so it's sort of like rebooted the franchise and got more people interested in it. But a lot of the diehard fans were a bit annoyed. And the thing is, though, you can't alienate any of the categories, because you need to make it suitable for a wider group of people now. You
do, but also if you think about it, and I know it's different decades and different times, but the two Star Trek movies sold more, made more money than the previous Star Trek movies. They brought new fans in. Merchandise sold more, and you have to keep the old fans happy, and without joking, without being ageist. I mean, the youngest Star Wars fans are in their 30s and 40s, as in who were around at the time, are in their 40s? Late 30s, early 40s.
I was born in the year Star Wars.
Okay, so say if we say mid 30s, early 40s. Mm-hmm. By the time 2015, 16, 17, the movies start coming, you know, they have to aim for the newer audience as well. So I think, Jay, you're right. I don't think he's going to make a Star Wars movie compared to whatever you want to call them, 1, 2, and 3, or 4, 5, and 6, sorry, the old ones.
The original trilogy.
But I do think he'll play it fair to the old cast. But I think, Stuart, you're right. I think he'll Abraham it.
He won't.
I think he'll do it slightly into the new guard.
He can't.
Why?
Because Star Wars...
He's under too much of a lock and chain when it comes to Star Wars. With Star Trek, he had a bit more carte blanche. He was able to create it a little bit more, because it was like rebooting it. With Star Wars, it's much more harder for him to be able to do that.
But Star Wars is a sequel. I mean, he has to play within the genre and within the confines of that story. But I think he's going to freshen it a bit.
Star Wars has a look and a feel that is completely unique, and you can say what you want about the prequels and everything else, but there's a feel to Star Wars that no other movie has.
Okay, to answer Stuart's bit then, I do think that Abrahams is a good enough director that he can do that. I do think he'll bring a little bit, not change, but new, freshen it up for 2015, 16, for the 21st century. He has to, and new actors. But I think this movie, and as I think I said it to Mark off air, part of me wants to watch all the movies now, just so I can say I've seen them, but part of me wants to stay outside so I can say I've never seen them. But I would be interested in seeing how he does that changing of the guard, which I think this movie will be. And I hope he does it deftly and nicely.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any of the principal characters die, though.
Not yet. We shouldn't.
I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll have them in and he'll have them retire, he'll have them become politicians. I think Mark Hamill, Stuart, will probably be around for all of them.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to be the Obi-Wan type character, the aging Jedi, and I think he will be an absolute, stalwart for all 3 movies.
What's going to be interesting for me is seeing the reaction from people who are new to the Star Wars franchise, who go in to see this film who only know maybe it's from J.J. Abrams' name or just hear it word of mouth that there's a new Star Wars film out and go to the cinema to see it, and they don't know the backstory or they don't know Star Wars in depth, and or the people who have actually seen Star Wars for the first time. This is their first Star Wars film. It'll be interesting to see their reaction more so than the fans of Star Wars, just to see how